Oh, well, how nice of you to do that. I mean, I probably owe you money now.
Well, you do. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
No, because you're on various shows, you direct the shows, you kind of are like the house guy now. How did that happen?
You know what? It all happened because of Burn Notice.
Yeah.
And I never have an agenda when I direct. I certainly have never suggested I act in anything I directed. I mean, sometimes I had to do it to get it made.
Right.
But in this case, we were casting, and I was riding around with the writers, and they kept saying, "Yeah, you should play, like you did, like you should, like you did, like in Fletch or this." And I kept thinking, yeah, they're being nice, or you never know if somebody really means it. Plus, you got to get the network to sign off, the studio to sign off, producers to sign off, and then the actors to sign off. It's like, I don't know if I want to push it. I didn't want to push it, and then I was very nervous if it didn't work. I'd be dead as an actor and a director at this network, at this studio, and so it was a lot of pressure. But I love that show so much, and it's like that kind of a show is the thing that is in my DNA. I love the USA spirit and the feel of the shows. So it was very rewarding and fun.
I missed a little bit of Bruno's panel. Is Larry going to be back?
Yeah, Larry's coming back in 2 episodes.
In 2 episodes, excellent.
2 more episodes. I mean, only 1 this season, but he's coming back. They're shooting 1 now, then there'll be another one.
So Chris's Gilroy character got killed off, and how about you? Do you think you have a long lifespan in this?
You never know.
Sam's getting pretty angry at you.
I know. He could feel the competition.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to bump him out of the show.
I thought the analogy of the angel and the devil on the shoulders was
That was funny. That was very funny, and it's how Matt thinks things out. I mean, he is the smartest guy in the room almost always. And he thinks things out, and he references stuff, and he always has a good baseline on the characters. The characters seem very, very real.
Although Larry and the different characters, what is it really? How would you really think about saying Fiona? We know a lot about how he feels about Jeff.
You know what? I want to get them away from. I think they're holding Michael back. I think that they are gooey, kind of sweet, soft-centered, and I don't think he needs that kind of thing around him. I think that makes him weak. And if I can separate him from them and get him, then I could get him into my corner, where he once was, So I think that's how I feel about them. I kind of like Fiona. I could kill Sam Adams. I mean, it wouldn't be any great loss. Don't tell him I said it.
Good healthy competition. Yes, well, we're not talking still.
No, certainly not. That was Larry. I was just Larry.
Is it more fun to play the quote satanic type of character than somebody who's angelic?
It's most fun. I mean, as a leading man, leading men with an edge are always interesting, but not without an edge are boring. And the villain is usually the most interesting character to play because you don't know you're a villain. You have your certain needs and wants and objectives and problems and actions. So it's just trying to achieve those, whatever measures you would take to get it.
Is it harder when you get the role to play and you're directing? Does that make it a whole
Tricky.
lot?
Yeah, that's tricky. I mean, it's just a question of time. I get so obsessed when I'm directing that in this case I had to carve out time on the weekends that I would normally focus on directing to work on the scenes as an actor and make sure that I had those nailed down before I got to the set, well before I got to the set. Because to keep up with these guys, Bruce Campbell is one of the most professional, prepared, organized, wonderful actors I've ever worked with. I mean, he's always the first one on the set, oftentimes before the director gets there. He's there working things out, planning stuff. I mean, he's just a gem. And so once you get on the set with him, bang, it goes so easy. And it's no mistake, and it's no accident things go easy with good actors because they work it out. They work it out before they get to the set.
So I was asking Chris Vance the same question. You're saying you're a director and it's a difficult role. Is this something you see really common in the industry for a director to also be playing an actor? And I mean, it's just unique that both of you on the show are both villains, and you both are directing as well.
Yeah, I mean,
How's that experience been, I guess?
well, the better the villain, the better the director, because you got to be tough. You know, I mean, tough in the sense that it's like a good parent. You're loving but firm.
Yeah.
You know, you want the best out of people. You don't accept less than their best, and you need it to inspire them, and you inspire people in a variety of ways. You know, and deviousness and cunning and deceit are your friends. You know, as a director. You know.
What would you say is different about directing? I don't know if you find the USA Network shows kind of all in the same house style, but what do you find about directing this show in particular that you have to bring to the table, or that you have to establish as the director? Are you going for a certain look? Is it a vibe? Is it a mixture of drama and comedy? And what are you doing that's different from other colleagues that you're directing?
It's a mixture of comedy and drama. It's I feel the USA show, especially White Collar and Covert Affairs and Burnout.
You guys got a new one as well coming up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's bigger. They're bigger. You know, you don't see that stuff on, and they've broken the mold a bit. You know, it's things happen differently than they do on sort of the more traditional networks. Although the cable networks, I think, are leading television in a very, very exciting, interesting direction. And, you know, great writers, directors, and actors are all involved. Whereas more traditional television, now they're going, geez, what the, you know, they're doing so many pilots and they do all these shows that sound like shows that they used to do, and it's like, and I've worked on some of them, and it's like ponderous. There's too many people. Burnos is very scaled down. All the USA shows, you do them in less time. You do it faster, sleeker, cheaper, better.
Is there less interference?
Yeah, they let you go. I never heard anything from the network. You know, Matt has to deal with them, but I think they give you the mandate to make the show. They want you to make the show, and then when they get the people around them that can make the show, they let you go. And that was the same effect, the same I had on Covert Affairs. They just gave me total carte blanche, and same thing on White Collar, and they just totally support you. And it's just, and they know what the show is. And if you are hip to it, then they just go for it.
So, one tough question for you, I guess. A lot of our fans have been asking, is there any chance for crossover between your other popular show, Psych, and Burn Notice? And I'm sure you get this question a lot, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Jeffrey Donovan said that he thought that the closest pairing would be White Collar and Burn Notice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and interestingly, and Bronwyn Hughes, who directed the White Collar pilot, had directed Burn Notice.
Oh.
So I think that in tone they're probably closer. Psych, which I've directed 4 episodes of, I think, is a little sillier, and they're in a different time zone, if you will, you know. Whereas White Collar and Burn Notice, I think, are
more along the
closer,
lines.
or Covert.
Kind of similar cloth.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my age, but to me, a lot of the USA shows like Burn Notice and so on, they're not throwbacks completely, but they have that element that a lot of, to me, 60s and some 70s
Rockford.
shows have. In terms of, even some stuff like the Starsky and Hutches and all that, but in terms of they move like lightning, and so much happens. It's a half hour, and you go, wow, there's still a half hour to go.
It's true. I'm not sure. I wish I could define it. I just know that the Burn Notice is all about heart. You know, I mean, they're all about heart. It's about, you know, he's been wronged, and his friends want to help him. And then to make money, he wants to help people who need help. Doesn't do it for the money. You know, so they all have a strong core center.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.